The Gripweeds are back with their new album, Soul Bender. And here is Kurt Reil, fresh off the boat after setting sail on Little Steven's underground garage cruise.
Well, the boat's so big, you don't realize it's a boat.
Okay,
you know?
That's good.
It's like a moving hotel, really. There were times when you realize you are moving. And
right.
One of those times was during our set, actually. We had two shows on the ship. And one set was at the back of the boat. And I don't know, it was like maybe there were some rough seas out there, but we were moving.
Okay.
And it was kind of going like this. And so I quickly, thought enough to tell the audience, well, that thing we put in your drinks must be working.
You didn't break into Rock the Boat or anything like that?
No, that's not our thing.
No, I didn't think it would be. All right, so you got a new album just coming out, or just came out, Soul Bender. Yeah. There it is. It's on vinyl and everything.
We got it on vinyl, yeah.
As the kids say these days. I remember the first time somebody said the word vinyls to me, and I almost exploded. I was like, "What the heck is that?" Now,
well, they say vinyls, like
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Plural. Yeah,
it's not.
We always said on vinyl.
That's okay. I can live with that. So yeah. Anyway,
I must say there is something about when you get a vinyl,
a record. I could believe
album. When you get on record,
yes,
it feels good. Like to have. There's something about it that seems more. Legitimate somehow.
Yes.
And then and also the sound of the record. There's something about the RIAA frequency curve.
That's the one.
Whatever they put on there, whatever it is, it makes everything sound magical. And even music that I know inside and out, I listen to the vinyl. I go, wow, this is a record now.
Yeah. It smells good when you open a new one as well.
And there's that too. I mean, there's really no downside.
All right. So what was a release day like for you guys? What'd you do? Did you do a gig?
Well, no. Well, release day was like everything up to release day was really difficult. We finished the album somewhere around March, April, and then we had to do the cover art and get everything ready to go to press. Right. Then we got to press. And then we had to learn how to play the songs live because we had shows coming up.
Right.
So we did that. And then we wound up, what we do off of our website, gripweeds.com, is we have an online store.
Yeah.
And we sell artist direct deluxe editions of our, pretty much every one since I think we started this with How I Won the War. Ever since we've been with Jem, we've been doing this. Right. And we kind of put together a whole other supplemental complement to the album. And in this case, it just like we got off the ship and we said, all right, well, we got to work on our deluxe edition now. So in between shows, we had a whole bunch of shows and we did this deluxe edition, and it took us up until this really release day to get everything done. We did a big booklet. Okay. That if you get the deluxe edition, you get a 34-page booklet that explains about every song, who played what, all the backstory, all the good stuff,
all the good stuff. Yep.
So,
do you get any extra tracks? Are there bonus tracks and things like that?
All right. Yeah. There's there's one track that didn't make the album, so that's a complete new song.
Yep.
Which is called Earth and Sky. And then we have another 23 songs on there, which are which are live versions, which we recorded in the studio as we were rehearsing for the shows.
Right.
Then we did a show one night, and the very next day we got in and said, all right, we're going to do acoustic versions of 3 of these. We've been working like crazy. And then we did instrumentals. We took our mixes that we put on here and took instrumental versions, which are really kind of enlightening because for me, even you hear stuff you didn't know was there. And especially for a listener who is, getting used to the material. And let's say you have a favorite song on there and we included an instrumental. Right. Like, for instance, Gene Clark, let's say.
I was going to mention that song because I love Gene Clark. So there you go.
Well, we'll talk about it more. But in this case, it's really cool to hear that without the vocals.
Right.
Because all of a sudden you hear all this other stuff.
Right.
Sure. And then there's demos. We put demos in there. So it's pretty comprehensive.
Yep.
And, hopefully people like the record enough to want to go for the companion
Yep. Yep.
Deluxe.
No, that sounds like fun. So when
Yeah.
did the record start to be a record and formulate itself in the band's mind, collective mind, I should say?
Well, it really started before, right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Right.
We were starting to record a new album, and we recorded about 3 songs of originals and basic tracks, and it was just Kristen and I because the lockdown had started.
Yeah.
And we realized this isn't going to work. We were like, we don't know how long we're going to be locked down. This isn't going to work. And that very day that we were doing those songs, we started doing covers as well. We're like, oh, let's do that song, Shape of Things to Come, and other things. And so we did about 3 of those while we were doing the others. And we started going, maybe we should do that covers album we talked about. Mm-hmm. So we wound up doing that over the pandemic because it was safer not to be together. And, try to like work up new material was kind of a stretch, we thought.
Yep.
So we put this on hold. So the album really did start in 2020.
Okay.
But then it took about a 3-year break for us to finish that. We also recorded a whole other album in the middle of that, which isn't released yet.
Okay.
And I can't even talk about it. So I would say, spring of 2023, we started getting going on what's this new album going to be. And then we started to figure out, well, we wanted it to be originals.
Right.
And then it took different forms for a little while. We were thinking maybe we would take old songs and just re-record them. And we actually did some of that. But then in the meantime, we had all these other songs. About half the album is new songs. So we had those new songs. We're like, well, we got to use those. So it became a blend of those new songs and some very old songs. One of them is my very first song.
Which one?
That's Someone in Love.
Going by the wayside, things that could have been are gone from me. Find me now, 'cause I come undone, and I'll rebound, just like someone in love. Someone in love.
In my mind, it was originally kind of a Hollies ripoff.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And if you
Some
get the
harmonies
deluxe
there
edition,
too, so that's all right.
if you get the deluxe edition, you'll hear the very first demo that I
Okay.
did, 21,
Right.
of this song. It was called Your Love at the time. And so we did this demo back then, tried to do it with the band and really weren't able to. It was eluding us as a song.
Right.
So we kind of forgot about it for a really long time. And then during the pandemic, it came back up. I'm like, oh, remember that old song? And I pulled it out and I was like, these lyrics are so teenage. I could not sing them. I was like, I got to fix that.
Right.
So that was one thing. I'm going to rewrite the lyrics. And then I started rewriting the song. And then as I was rewriting the song, another song popped out.
Right.
Because I was changing keys. I was trying different ideas. And all of a sudden, I got another song, which became Promise of the Real. Right. Which is on the album track number 4.
Yes, it is.
So you never know what's going to happen, So this new song became, this old song became refreshed and new, and another song popped out.
Gave birth to another one in the process.
Exactly. Yeah.
What does Promise of the Real mean? Because they're not, we all know it from the Neil Young, Willie Nelson guys. Explain.
Well, I couldn't get that out of my head, actually. And as I was singing the lyric, it was like, Promise of the Real. And I just thought that had a ring to it.
Right.
And I was like, well, so what if Neil called his band Promise of the Real? That's kind of a compliment, and maybe people will be into that.
'Cause I need you to follow through with your promise. You promised something real, but you couldn't deliver. I wouldn't forgive you if your promise was for real. Then I could believe it, and always would keep it to myself.
Really what it's about is it's a real life thing that happened to Kristen and I. Kristen's my wife, and she's the lead guitar player in the band.
Right.
And we are early on in our relationship. It was one of these deals where we were trying to find our way as a couple. And it was like, I don't know if I want to tie myself down. I was really young. And she's like, no, I want to tie myself down. And so I was like, well, I'm going out to California. So I went out to California and I was doing some music stuff out there. One of the things I got to do was very cool. I got to do some work at Studio 3, the old Western Studio 3, which is where the Beach Boys recorded all their stuff.
Right.
And I got to work there. So it was amazing.
Cool.
But anyway, out there, I was starting to think, oh, that girl, I really like Kristen. And I started to, sort of feel like maybe I should patch this up. So I came home and we patched it up. And that is what Promise of the Real is about. It's about making a promise to somebody.
Right.
And, you have to deliver, basically. You got to deliver.
Yep. Got to deliver. All right. Well, that's cool. And when you mentioned the Beach Boys, and let's face it, Brian Wilson just passed away, sadly. And you wake up every morning and you're kind of afraid to start scrolling and see who's the next one. I was a big Mott the Hoople fan, and Mick Ralphs just died. And I'm guessing you were a Clem Burke fan as well.
Absolutely. I was a Clem Burke friend.
Oh, there you go. So.
Not a huge close friend, but I did meet him a few times, and I had tremendous respect for him.
Yeah.
I know his influences were my influences, and we were definitely simpatico, as far as all that stuff goes. Hold on, my screen just opened up. I'm trying to close it up.
Close it up.
Okay.
Yeah. So
but Brian Wilson hit me pretty hard, actually. And I was lucky. I got to work with him a couple of times.
Cool. What was it like to work with?
It was incredible. We went to his suite in New York City to rehearse for the show that we did at Lincoln Center.
Right.
And I was in the backing band. I got called by Andy Paley to flesh out this band. And so we get there and we go to the suite. All right. And no lie now, I walk into the room and it's a suite. So there's a bedroom and like a nice sitting room with a big piano in it.
Okay.
So, and at the piano was Paul Schaefer from the David Letterman show.
Yeah.
And then to the left of him was Don Was, who produced the Rolling Stones and was in that band Was Not Was.
Yes.
Next to him was Danny Hutton from Three Dog Night, good friend of Brian's. Next to him was Billy West from Ren and Stimpy, the voice guy, and he was a guitar. And then the Paley brothers, both of them, Jonathan and Andy. Right. And also Richard X. Heyman. I don't know if you've heard of Richard X. Heyman.
I know the name, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he's a good artist. And the two of us were on this gig. So we walk into this room, and we're like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Right.
And then we have the great fortune, and I mean great fortune, to sit at Brian's feet, kneeling at his feet, singing songs like, and singing songs like California Girls and Do It Again. Yeah. And Brian going, you sing this part and you do this part. He really did that.
Right.
And, the details that he had, were there.
Yeah.
And it was just an amazing experience to be connected with him musically that way, and to work with him was just tremendous.
Very cool. All right. We better get back to the grip weeds here.
Yeah, let's do that.
We can talk about everybody all day long.
No problem.
So you obviously are very comfortable working in your own studio together. You eventually, the COVID's over, everybody's back together again. Did it feel different? Does the band change its personality, or it kind of the way it interacts with itself, or has it been pretty much solid throughout?
Well, I would say
it's kind of a family affair, isn't it? I mean, you're married to the guitar player, your brother's in the band, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's very much a family affair. And if you just think about relationships that you have with close people, right. I think that those relationships they have an ebb and a flow, and sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down.
Yep.
And with my brother especially, I think I've learned more how to work with him respectfully, because sometimes right. when you're brothers, you cross the line.
Yes.
And you really shouldn't.
Right.
And I would say that goes with Kristen too. You kind of realize. Me, I'm a producer. I do a lot of productions outside the Gripweeds, and I also, there's a bug in here, co-produce the Gripweeds and do most of the engineering. So I'm in a position where I'm usually having to try to coax good stuff and what we would say is magic performances.
Yep.
I'm trying to coax that out of my band members and get them in a place where they're able to create. And you don't want to do that when you're like, well, you know what you did to me, and I didn't like that. And,
yeah.
You can't do that stuff. So you got to be respectful. And I make sure I do that with my brother especially. I work with him and for him, on his music. So, and I feel like we're in a really good place, all of us, where we're much more respectful of each other, and yet the music is is strong.
Right. Well, that's a key, because a lot of times that tension translates into the music, and it's what makes the music interesting and exciting. So you don't want to go bland music wise just because you're all getting along and smiling and being friendly.
Yeah. Well, there is a line there. I mean, there's something where I guess you would call it being patronizing.
Right.
And I don't think we ever are patronizing. I think we all put the music first, and we're brutally honest about that.
Yep.
But in a respectful way.
Of course.
So that, you make your point. Well, Rick, I think you can do better, but do the best you can.
Right.
Something like that,
Yeah. Well, I think we all learned something from watching that Beatles anthem, the documentary, and how they work together.
Get Back.
Yeah, Get Back. Because we all had in our own heads visions of what we thought how it went down, but seeing them actually, the love basically between them was just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see that they were at some kind of a level. I don't know what happened to them after that album, but they seemed in a good place at the end of that record.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody's a Beatles expert, including myself.
Yeah.
And you think
yeah,
but you really don't.
No.
And it's the same with my group. Nobody really knows but the four of us how it really works.
Right.
And no one really will get that, because they're not there, and you have to be just us together to find that.
Yep.
And there can't be the outside distractions or something goes wrong. It's different. It's like, I feel for the Beatles having Yoko there, because, Yoko comes in, it changes the chemistry. It changes the way Lennon interacts with McCartney. All of a sudden, he's in a weirder way. He's not quite the same. And that, when you bring that other person in, it does change the chemistry. So we try not to do that, when we record.
Yeah. Well, I think Ringo came out as a superstar at the end of that thing, because he's just sitting back there playing these amazing things. And let's face it, he took a lot of guff through the years because he's Ringo, but there you go. He was incredible.
Total support.
Yep.
We have our own Ringo. We've got Dave DeSantis on bass. Dave is a total support guy.
Right.
His bass playing is peerless. He comes in, he pretty much knocks things out in one take if it's up to him.
Yep.
And he's that clean.
Cool.
So, Dave is one of those guys, and I could see Ringo and Dave in that, very much a support player to the songwriter, to the producer.
Yep.
What do you need? As long as I like it too, and that's the way you want him to be, really.
Now, we did touch on Gene Clark Broken Wing song, so I feel that we have to come back around to that before we get away from us here. Tell me about your relationship with Gene.
Well, I never really had one, but not personally anyway. But I certainly had we all did actually a really good relationship with the Byrds.
Sure.
And not to, influence us as kids to get into this kind of thing, this music thing, and sort of seek out all of these what were very hard to find records when we were growing up.
Right.
Including if you tried to go off the greatest hits, map square of the Byrds and try to find Younger Than Yesterday, good luck, It was hard to do.
Yep.
But we eventually got it, and we got into all their stuff, and had a big influence on us as a band. Really, just how we modeled ourselves originally was off of a band like the Byrds, musically, and also just the whole idea of those five guys, kind of had a look, had a vibe, character. Yep. And we always saw the Gripweeds as sort of our modern version of that. And I think we still carry that forward. Yep. But musically, I wrote that song, and it struck me as a Gene Clark song. I didn't try that. I didn't try to go there.
Gotcha.
I was just playing, and it came out, and I'm like, that sounds like Gene Clark.
Traveling the straight line, the asking is to show, and troubling to create time by moving far too slow. That I've lost you now, I was too proud to let my feelings show.
I had the song for a while, long time. I had the song for quite a while. I demoed it, and for whatever reason, it was just me on the demo. So it was like I played everything: bass, drums, guitars, and vocals, and just to get a sense of where's the song going and what does it want to do. And whenever I make a demo, I try not to think about the band too much. I try to think about the song. The song,
right. Yep.
As it really is the case with all these songs on the record, the song is in the driver's seat. What does it need? The song is the king, really, of how do we serve it best. And then, once the song is written and you get a feel for what it is, actually, then you start going, should that be a Gripweed song? Maybe, right. Maybe not.
Right.
And for whatever reason, it didn't make the cut for a while. And then we finally brought it in as we were coming back to these songs. Actually, at the pandemic is when we brought it back.
Gotcha.
And it was one of the 3 we recorded. And so we recorded it, Kristen and I, and started working on it. And we realized the song needs some more work. It didn't have a chorus. We realized it was lacking.
Yep.
And Kristen and I wound up brainstorming on a drive. We were driving from New York to New Jersey, and we came up with this concept. I don't know who did it. It may have been her, of flying with a broken wing, and somehow or another that was like, wow, that's Gene.
Right.
Gene was a bird who couldn't fly.
Yep.
Or wouldn't fly, and so it fit, and it wound up being, wow, this song is now re-energized, and so we cut that into the version we had, and I think I recut the drums to do it. But that's when the song, pardon the pun, really took off. And then I said to Rick, I'm like, Rick, how about some backwards guitar?
Yeah, that's right. Like
that would be that would be really cool. So whenever I do stuff like that with Rick, he knows, because the two of us come from the same.
Yep.
So he knows,
Yep.
And so we did that, and it was like, wow, that was the trick. That was totally that did it. Really Kristen cool. Also plays. That song is not just a Birds thing. It has a big Gene Clark vibe as well, like a solo vibe, and it's a little bit acoustic in the beginning, and it's got some pedal steel sounding guitars and things. So we weren't going for 1966 Birds. We were going for Gene Clark and our homage, but the song wanted that, so we gave it to it.
Cool. Excellent. All right, Eddie. Well, so what's the plan going forward? Are you guys doing gigs? You say you got another album in the can somewhere, so that must be.
That's a movie. So we don't know when that movie's going to come out. We it's kind of tight to talk about it, and there's no point because you can't see it or you can't buy it. So
right.
So we're going to hold off on that till now, and that's all kind of done and dusted. So going forward with this, we're going to make some music videos first thing.
Right.
Now that release day is behind us, and we did all this work, and we can.
I was looking around. I was like, no videos.
We're up here in upstate New York, kind of blowing off, some steam and relaxing for a little bit.
Right.
And until the videos come next week, and we get back on what we're doing. And then we've got some shows at the end of the summer. I'm not sure when they are, but they'll be coming up more shows.
Right.
And then after that, we will get to another album, but I'm not in a hurry.
Sure.
Because, there were a ton of songs that Rick and I both have that are kind of on the side, that are unfinished, that we just, we'll just pick them up and start going, I like that one. And what can we do to finish that off? And, so we'll just pick right back up and figure out what we're going to do. But I don't think it's going to be any long lag between albums.
Gotcha.
We don't want to do that anymore.
Well,
we used to do that.
None of us are getting any younger, so yeah.
Well, there's that. Yeah. Well, you know what? We this is what we do. We like to make music, and we're blessed to have the vehicle, the studio, and the band to go and do this stuff. And if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? May as well get going. The band is together. So let's go.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.